Okay, thanks for coming back and watching this next video. Following on from the last video where we did removing the axle from the ADV2, I realised probably need to do another video now on replacing the bearings. So we've got the hub and the lid separated from the whole stator. So the first thing we'll do is to remove the bearing out of the lid because that's the easiest job to do. So if you've got a bearing press, by all means use it. If you've got pucks, whatever, use them. But if you don't have any of those things, you can just as easily remove the bearing using a piece of hardwood timber like this and just tapping the bearing out. To tap it out, you just work your way around the bearing as you tap, and you don't. It's a tap, it's not a hit. So let's go. There we go, it nearly falls out. It hasn't fell out, we'll put it up on some blocks. And that's it. One bearing out. To do the hub, we've got all these neodymium whatever magnets to deal with. The potential is when you knock the bearing out for it to fall and slam into one of those magnets, which by nature are very brittle, so there's a chance to break one. So we're going to knock it out from this side, and to protect the magnets, I've found that a piece of PVC water pipe, it's a 100mm or 4-inch and 145 millimetres long. When you drop that in here, it centres itself because there's a cone in the bottom, and you can just tip it over and that water pipe holds the hub for you to tap the bearing out. So again, it's just a simple matter of tapping the bearing, and we work our way around it. It's about to go. So that just fell straight through the PVC pipe to the bottom, so the magnets didn't even get to grab it. It's the thing with that PVC, it just keeps it far enough away from the magnets. It does grab, but it's nowhere near as intense if you were to do it without the PVC in place. All right. So now to replace this bearing, it's a simple matter of, we leave our PVC pipe inside. I'll clean this up first. And we put our bearing in. As I say, with the PVC there, it's not hard. You're not fighting with it at all. You just sit it in the bottom, press it in if you can. Yeah, that's just pressed in now and started itself. I don't know if you can see that. But even if it doesn't, it's just a matter of getting it in best you can, and then follow up with the tap around the outside edge of your bearing. We do both sides, rather than going around, I want you to tap one side and then the other side, so you can keep it going down evenly. Don't go all the way. As you progress down, just check, observe. Now I can see here, I don't know if you can see that, it's quite a gap here, and on the opposite side, it's quite close. So we're going to work on the big gap side. I can see it down in here. That's the side we hit next. We just tap it. Check it again, make sure it's all even. Okay, I can see a little bit higher this side. I'm going to work on that now. Opposite sides, keep tapping them opposite sides. Check as you go. Yep, I can see the next high spots here. Yep, it's coming down nice and even now, so we'll just finish off one side to the other. You're tapping the outside of the bearing, not the inside, so just focus your attention on the outside. I mean, in effect you're hitting both the inside and the outside, but seriously it doesn't matter. Alright, so we've got that bearing in, it's all fitted in beautifully. To do our lid, it's basically the same deal. Give things a clean up. Clean up inside where you're putting the new bearing. Look at that, it's going in by hand nearly. Alright, with this one you can probably do the same, find a piece of wood that'll fit in and connect both sides of the bearing through your PVC. If you want to go to that trouble, by all means do it. This one here, a block of wood that's wide enough to span the bearing, hardwood, and we can hit both sides at the same time. We'll come across to this quarter. We'll check to see that it's square. No, one side's dragging, which is normal. So this side needs a bit more taps or pressure. Check. It's pretty even. There's a little bit higher here. Yep, higher spot here, needs to follow up further, we're nearly there. Okay, there it is, it's seated home now, all the way around. So again, if you've got a bearing press, I'm not saying don't use it, I'm just saying that you don't need to use it. So we've got our bearing in there, it didn't take long to do, so now we can progress, be out on the board in no time, just put it all back together. So I hope that helps. Now before we go, something I'd like to point out is when I took it apart this time, the lid came off and the bearing remained on the shaft. Now there could be a couple of reasons for that. It could be just that's the luck of the draw, or it could be because I've used a slightly bigger O-ring. I've used 1/8 of an inch, which is 1.9 millimetres. Instead of the 1.5 millimetre O-ring which was originally in there, which might be gripping it onto the axle, and when I've pulled it apart it was easier to come off the actual housing here. It's no need to panic. At this point you still use our pieces of wood and we can just tap the bearings off. So gently tap one side, go around 180 degrees and tap the bearing. You can see it's coming off there now. The only thing I'll say is to be very careful of your hall sensor. Operate each side of it, but don't try and operate over the top of it. So you just go around and it'll come off. Now in this particular situation your press isn't going to help, so you'll have to revert to using this method of tapping it off. But it's No, I'll keep going. Yeah, there we go. So if this happens, that's the way you do it. You've got to pretty much, that's one of your only options, to use the old block of wood. Okay, thanks for watching, and I hope you've picked up some hints, or I hope that you feel that you don't need to go out and buy specialised equipment just to replace these bearings. It's just not worth it.